Crypto soars on Trump's announcement of a strategic crypto reserve. And it's gone like that as all the gains are taken back, and we're right back where we started. The SEC is offering $50,000 for various employees to resign, and Trump's State of the Union is sure to be a humdinger as no one knows exactly what's coming next. The only thing that's certain in the crypto world is uncertainty. Oh, and us. We're still here for certain during the bull and the bear. So join us today for news on episode number 767 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
Welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast, the show for the crypto curious and the crypto serious, coming to you from two exotic locations, the Dominican Republic and
Kansas City. My home office here with my new fancy lights. So that's good.
Yeah, that is exotic. What you got going on, if you guys are just listening to the show and you're not watching the show, either on YouTube, Rumble, or live when it happens on X, on Mixie Media, then you're missing out on the incredible amount of work Travis has put into one of the most badass, organic, authentic backgrounds that I've ever seen. I mean,
Really?
there's so much. It's kind of like a Sgt. Pepper's album to me. You know, the cover of the album.
Oh, yeah.
I think that subtly inspired you because you've always dug, that look.
Yeah, what I really thank you for one. These are all the collectibles that I've gotten over all the years. My favorite is I literally have this like 12-inch Kobe and Michael Jordan, and they're sitting and they actually extend outside of the shelving unit. So if you guys tune in, I'm doing a lot of TikToks and YouTube videos for a few different channels that I run. So you want to make sure to connect and reach out and do that. That would be awesome. I'd love to see your friendly faces. On TikTok, I am Sir Lord Travis because that makes sense. And then we're still doing stuff on all the other channels as well. Make sure you connect with us.
On TikTok, I am at Joel Comm, and I have no access to the account because I signed up for it back when it was Musical.ly, and I used to do those videos. And then, so it never connected to a phone number or an email. It just had a login. And so I've got no way to access
login doesn't work, huh? Bastards.
No, doesn't work. I'm out.
Man.
Anyway, glad that you guys are here for a rip-roaring episode in what is allegedly still a bull market, but feeling pretty sad right now because we've got some serious drawdowns taking place. So why don't we jump right in here with the gecko of the coins and take a look at the total crypto market cap. It's been prettier, Trav. It's been a lot prettier than it is right now. I'm going to refresh it just to get the current 2.83 trillion. Bitcoin, 82,507. Ethereum, 2,060. XRP, 235. BNB, 565. Solana, 136. Cardano, 81.5 cents. Dogecoin, 19 cents. And Tron, 23.5 cents. And what's pretty remarkable here, and I honestly, if you would have asked me if Pi Network would have jumped into the tops of the crypto market cap, I would have said no way. But it's at number 12, sitting at $1.07.
They did it. That's pretty amazing to go out of nowhere and then be worth almost, over $12 billion in market cap. Now, today is a big day, Joel. Today is the day that the tariffs kicked into place. So a lot of people have been expecting this. Also, I believe there's some unlocks that have happened at the first of the month with Solana for some of the cantillionaires. So that's something that's happened. And so, what's crazy is we're giving tariffs to Canada, but Canada's been giving us tariffs for the longest time. There's like ridiculous amounts of tariffs on eggs and all kinds of different agriculture and other things. Like they've been charging us a ton. And so we start charging you some, and you get all upset and bent out of shape and crying like babies. And it's really crazy. So, 25% on things for Canada, 25% on things for Mexico, and just for good measure, 10% for China.
It's 20 now. He raised it. I think it's
He raised
20.
it to 20 to
Yeah, I
China.
think he raised it to 20. So we're going to double that. We're going to double that. 10%'s not huge enough. You're going to pay. But here's what's amazing to me. There's a chip maker. I can't remember the name of it, but they're pledging, $100 billion in development to the U.S. He has, in the first 45 days, gotten $1.6 billion in commitment for made in the USA.
How much is that? How much?
$1.6 trillion. During Biden's entire 4-year term, he did 1.7 trillion. Trump has almost done that amount in just the first 6 weeks. And tonight, which will be yesterday by the time podcast listeners hear this, is the State of the Union. And he has tweeted out that big things are coming, essentially that he's not holding back. Boy, I sure hope he announces that we're pulling out of NATO and in the UN.
Well, there's going to be some interesting stuff. Now, I've been reading a lot of different rumors about what the Democrats are going to pull tonight. So remember, whenever Trump had the State of the Union address before, one time they all wore white because they were solidarity with women, and then they never applauded anything that was good that was for America. And so now they're saying they're either going to throw eggs, they're going to bring in noise rattlers, they're going to walk out, but they have raised up the security for the event. They brought in metal detectors, which whenever Trump came in, they took the metal detectors away. They're bringing metal detectors back. Tonight could be a complete shit show when it comes to that State of the Union, because when crybabies don't get their way, what do? They cry and they throw pout. They pout and cry, and that's what they do. And that's probably what we're going to see. And I think you maybe froze. Either that or you're very stoic.
I feel like tonight is going to be absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And I think he's going to have great words to say. And it doesn't matter what, there's people on the other side are like, see, this is what you get when you vote for this. And everybody on the right that I know at least is going, yes, more, please.
Dude, it's almost like there's two concurrent realities going on. Like one side is like, oh my God, see, he's so horrible. The other side is like, wow, look at all these crazy things. Like, so if you just look at it, you go, wow, it seems like from all points of indication, he's trying to bring peace to the world, right? He's trying to bring peace. He said, hey, let's have peace. And then, but they're saying no, because, Zelensky in Ukraine and Russia is the aggressor and all of this. But then they don't ever talk about how since 1991, NATO just keeps expanding and keeps expanding to Russia's border, which has always been their point. And so imagine this if Russia all of a sudden worked with Alberta and Ontario, and they just started putting huge Russian military bases right on our border. And they said, hey, Tijuana, they put a big Russian sort of thing right there in Tijuana, and they put another one right outside of El Paso. Like, how people be freaking out, bro. And so
you'd have latkes in Tijuana when you cross the border instead of tacos, and that wouldn't be right. But you're correct. NATO was never supposed to expand beyond the borders of what was agreed to, and I think most people don't know that, and they don't know that it's the U.S. that said, we're going to push the boundaries here. We're going to move into Belarus, and we're going to move into Serbia. I think Serbia and these other countries. And Russia.
I got a really good video on this that I'm gonna see if I can find it and pull it up here real quick, because it really really showed it, which I had never seen, or I hadn't seen it in this way before. And let me see. No, I can't. I don't actually see it. When you think you can find it, and you're like, and then some Yahoo, they just put like 100 posts up on their thing. But I saw a video. Here it is right here. Let me click on this one. And I'm going to share my screen, Mr. Grimm.
Wow. Sounds real entertaining too.
It's really entertaining how I'm not doing it, but I said I'm going to.
I think the understanding.
Are those the crickets? There we go. All right. So if we go back here, and I'm going to even go back and go the whole. Here the Soviet Union collapses, and none of these, and then all of a sudden they create a partnership for peace, and then all of a sudden you're going to start seeing these dark blue popping up as NATO members.
and that
individual
was never
partnership
part of the
agreement.
treaty. That was never part of the treaty, and we did it anyway, and we pushed it. The United States, previous administrations pushed it.
Yeah, well, it started with Clinton, and that's what happened. Now Sweden and Finland are part of NATO now, and all of these are part of NATO, and so it's just kind of crazy when you look into it and you see how that has been, and you know it's not, it wasn't supposed to be that way. And so, how much patience do you expect this guy to have, right? So remember when Georgia became part of that, or they was trying to become part of that, boom, immediately they said nope, and they had war with that, and they said no, we don't want you directly on our border. And so the fact that you're getting right up on our border, that pisses them off. It's not that they're just trying to take over all of Europe. That's idiotic. That's them with their propaganda and their narratives to try to shape the minds of the sheep, to tell them how to think. But that's not the reality of the scenario.
There's no doubt that Putin is a dictator, right? Yeah, but there's also no doubt that Zelensky is the same. I mean, he's basically called off the legal elections. He has imprisoned political opponents. He's taken a network that puts up news that might oppose the narrative off the air. He's actually pulled entire news network.
Dude, he's closed down 11 different political parties, I believe I read.
The dude is much of a dictator, and I think what
he's like 5'7". Yeah, right, 5'8", maybe.
Dresses in his jammies.
He really has a Napoleon complex. He really has a big ego. He comes up there with his chest all puffed out like he's some big shit. Dude, you were an actor, bro. You're a comedian, and you did a comedic role that was, hey, I'm the new president. And then whenever the U.S. came in and ousted Poroshenko, he got voted in because he had mind share, because he was on TV as the president. Like, oh, yeah, here's our president. And so you know how voting systems go anyways. I don't really trust most any of them. So he's the guy they wanted in place. He's their global puppet. And they don't want the war to end. You can see they don't want the war to end. And it's creating problems. But it needs
Trump has the cards, though, and he's not backing down.
What you talking about? We don't play cards. I don't have cards.
We don't play cards.
You know, I do think that let me throw that one thing in there, is that I know that there was some idioms and some metaphors that were being used that somebody who's a native speaker, who's not a native speaker of English, probably didn't understand. And I think he got triggered on something that was misinterpreted, and it kind of ruined a whole lot. You can see if you watch that whole 50-minute Zelensky Trump thing, something happened where I don't think he got the correct translation, and it made him all mad. And he was all like this, and he was
there's a lot of things.
Cocaine, bro. It looked like he was having
yeah, he's Sniffy McSniffertons, him and Kamala maybe backstage doing some of that. So let's take a look here again at the fear and greed index, because you look last week how much greed there was, and now you look at how much fear there is in the market, and it's all part of the cycle. And of course, you know, after Trump, what he did the other day about the strategic crypto reserve, things flew, and then things came crashing back down just as quickly.
That was just a little pump. I was like, yes, fine. However, now I do think this, Joel. So on the 7th, in just a couple of days, I believe on Friday, they're having the first ever U.S. crypto summit. So a couple of days after, so tonight is the State of the Union, and then there's going to be lots of news about that tomorrow, and then the next day, and then Friday, boom, they're going to have the crypto summit. Something's going to pop out of that, and hopefully over the weekend we're going to see some pops from that crypto summit news to put the markets at ease. But these tariffs and all this other shit and global stuff going on, freaking out everybody, it looks like.
So Peter Schiff, as always, has something to say, and for some reason we keep going back to him. He's a villain that you love to hate. Well, you just love to love, whatever. It's he actually tweeted something saying that it would make sense for Bitcoin to be part of a strategic reserve, but he's saying that forcing U.S. taxpayers to buy Bitcoin and other worthless crypto is preventing the market from collapse. So he's saying that this is propping up what he believes is the inevitable end of the crypto market.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. And the thing is that fiat money is based on nothing. And so how are they calling crypto worthless when it's based on algorithms and the value there. Now, there's a lot of worthless cryptos, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of them that do really phenomenal things. And I think that as we're noticing with the U.S. aid, and you know what's weird is the logo says U.S. aid, but a lot of people on the news call it USAID, but it's not. It's US aid is what it looks like to me. But
well, no, but AID stands for something. It's an acronym, and it's not supposed to be. It's cutesy that it comes out aid, but of course, what we know is it's a gigantic money laundering scheme for.
They have a way of doing that, naming things something that it's exactly the opposite of. You know, like the Federal Reserve. It's not federal and it's not a reserve. That's one of the very first ones. Yeah. So there's so many of those cases that they name it that, like the Patriot Act. Not very patriotic.
No, in fact, having gone through the airport just the other day and watching TSA, I sure hope that they terminate TSA as a federal government, agency and give it to the airports, privatize it, and let the airports manage their own security. I'd be a fan of that. So let's talk about the Trump pump.
But that's worldwide. I mean, those things are. It's like, yeah, but you're right. A lot of these other airports, but they still. Man, having been to so many airports that I've been to, they all act sort of their own it's a very fascistic.
But all we can deal with is what's happening in the United States, right? And they violate our rights. They violate our rights every time we go through, and they scan us, and they're patting down.
They touch my pee-pee.
Patting down grannies. Well, you like that because you were asking people if they nutted today.
I was like, hey, could you grab my pee-pee real quick before I get on my airplane?
So the tweet of Trump's basically said that the crypto reserve, strategic crypto reserve, would happen, and he mentioned by name XRP, Solana, and Cardano. And he said, I'll make sure US is the crypto capital of the world. And then he followed up. I think, somebody said, dude, you forgot the main thing. And he says, and obviously BTC and ETH as other valuable cryptocurrencies will be the heart of reserve. I also love Bitcoin and Ethereum. It was an hour later that he said that. Now, I don't know if he's playing, 4D chess here again, because the people that he's surrounding himself with are very Bitcoin friendly. He's Michael Saylor's talking a lot to the group here. David Sachs is the SEC chairman. Is he a shitcoiner now? I don't know. And maybe we'll back off some of these, and maybe it'll just be Bitcoin still. I don't know. What's your take?
Well, I think that it was interesting when you look at each one of the chains, they're all a little different, right? And so you got Bitcoin with the UTXO transactions and the L2s built on that, on the Bitcoin. Ethereum is its own thing. It has all these L2s that pop onto it, right? With all the EVMs and whatnot. Then Solana is its own sort of ecosystem, as well as Cardano. It's its own thing. Now, there's bridges that make it EVM compatible, but it's not an EVM chain. And then also XRP. They're all complete different technologies. And so that was one thing I was chatting with a potential partner, was that, man, there's some opportunities there to become a multi-chain bridge for all of those, if those are the main tokens that are going to be in the reserve. And if those are the ones in the reserve, then every single U.S. centralized exchange should be able to, promote and sell those, right? And then so I think we're going to see. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens during the crypto summit. I think that's what we're going to want to see, is like that next week's episode. On Tuesday, tune in, jump on our space, and we'll be talking about what happened at that crypto summit. I'll probably do some shorts on it anyways too.
I hope it's not another nothing burger, right? That there's actually progress that is going to be made. I think that some of the states have rejected a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but we've got Oklahoma, which may be the first to the game, that's moving things forward.
And I think that's kind of a custody issue too, because you don't want Jimmy from IT to be managing the private keys. You know what I mean? I don't know that private keys and cold storage and airlock systems are enough for government custody kind of things. Because imagine when one administration moves to another administration, and then you got people who had the keys before and they're moving to another. So it's like, it creates a new kind of problem that hopefully we can get figured out.
Well, the SEC is dropping cases left and right, and Coinbase is one of the previous victims that the case has been dropped against. And Coinbase is now saying, hey, how much exactly did it cost Gary Gensler to go to war against crypto? So they've got Freedom of Information Act requests out there to find out. And I have a feeling that we're going to get those numbers. We're going to find out just how much the SEC spent to pursue these crypto companies. And by the way, I just saw, I don't know if it was last night or this morning, but the case against NFTs or not securities. So that has been determined. SEC has dropped that. So we can now safely say that blockchain heroes and all the NFTs that we created and the millions and millions of other NFTs out there in the world are not securities.
Now, wouldn't all of this news seems quite bullish? Like,
yes,
it seems to me like that is super bullish. What's going on? Come on, Mark.
I concur.
I feel like
well,
I'm poking the horse. Come on, do something, bro. Do something.
Again, if we look back to 2021, quit poking the horse. If you look back to 2021, you will notice that we had a double top, that crypto hit an all-time high in January, I believe it was, February of 62,000. And then Bitcoin went down more than 50%. The drawdown and altcoins were worse. The drawdown was horrible. And people were saying, this is it. It's a short market. It's over. And then by December, 6 months later, new all-time high. I think this cycle looks like that cycle, driven by all of this bullish news that you're talking about. And so we've got a hell of a year in front of us. That's what my investments are saying. I'm in. And many others are as well. Michael Saylor is certainly in. Has he got 500,000 Bitcoin yet? If not, he's awfully close.
Sure, getting close. And, the tariffs, they're thinking that this is causing the Trump slump. We talked about the Trump bump. Now it's the Trump slump. And I just think this is a calm before the storm. I mean, the things are kind of just getting shaken out right now. Has this gone the way we thought it was going to go? No, Bitcoin hit 9K.
Yeah, 109.
Was that the top? That's 40K more than the previous all-time high, by the way. Is that going to be this cycle's all-time high? I don't know. I don't think it will be. I hope it's not.
When you're talking about tariffs, if you look at the actual numbers, tariffs hurt them more than they hurt us. It's actually a net gain for America. So the
it does increase the prices of the goods, which cost more for them, and then they charge more for us, right? They're
right,
charging more.
But you've got industry that's moving to the States. We made in America, provide American jobs. And I think our prices will. There's going to be this battle back and forth. Prices driven down.
It's going to be a little bit of a pain before it gets to the pleasures. What you're saying is, okay, we're pushing you, because that's one thing he said is like, oh, if you want to build these cars in Mexico, then you're going to pay 25% tariff on these things. Just build the plants in America, and we'll build the cars here.
And Honda just announced that just yesterday. Honda said that they are moving a plant from Mexico to Indiana, and they'll be responsible for 200,000 Civics a year. So, I mean, it's working. It's clearly.
That's a good sign right there. And also, this is going to be very good for American farmers, right? Because we've been subsidizing, Canadian farmers and stuff, but they still charging us tariffs on top of these weird subsidies. There's just a lot of weird shit that goes on with that. But yeah, you're exactly spot on.
David Sachs is being clear that he will have no investments in crypto. He's already sold off his Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Sol before joining the Trump administration.
He sold it at 109K, which is very ironic. I don't know how he did that. That was really good.
Whatever it was, he sold it, and he needs to. You can't be the crypto czar and responsible for the regulatory direction that crypto is going to take if you have such a vested interest. And so allegedly he is out completely. At least that's what he's saying. There's some saying, "Oh, yeah, are you in any ETF?"
I sold them to my son.
Yeah. Anything's possible, right?
Who knows? I mean, if you're in this game and you want to be the czar, you probably want to keep your Bitcoin as much as possible, right? So, but if he sold it, good on him. Really appreciate that. And that's interesting news. Yeah, there you go.
Well, the SEC is also providing incentives for staff to resign. In this case, they are providing $50,000 incentives if eligible staff will quit, take the money and run.
All right, I resign. Let me give you my routing number. I'm out of here. No, it's like, and there's more of these that's happening too. And it's like, retire, resign. We'll give you a little boost. And they gave people the opportunity to do that early on, and then they said, if you don't do it, we're going to take it all away. We're not going to offer it again. But they're still offering certain groups to get a little bit of cash. So what, 50K? That's about, well, in a lot of cases, probably just a couple 3 months of salary for many of them. Probably not a whole lot. So think of how many job openings there are, or how many displaced employees in Washington, D.C. are happening as a result of all this clearing out.
Yeah, if you look at like realtor.com or what's Zillow, the amount of properties that for the bureaucrats in DC that are on sale right now, like, you're going to take a loss. You can buy a property in DC, so it's such a great deal right now if that's where you wanted to live. I can't imagine wanting to live there. I mean, just the stench, the leftover stench, the toxic sludge from the swamp that's been there, you think would, poison you and your family. But they're running, they're getting out.
Is it like ghost karma, just hanging out in these houses that used to be there from the different craziness that's all happening in DC? I've always thought that DC should probably not be in DC, should probably be in like Topeka or something, Topeka, Kansas.
Oh, you just want it next door.
No, I just want it away from the cesspool of where it's been for so long. I almost think that the capital should probably change every, generation or two, right? It's almost something, because it gets so much corruption gets entrenched, right? And then when you have this deep state sort of thing happening, now I know the logistics of that would be a nightmare, but it's almost like we need to have like 3 revolving capitals or something. We already have 2. We have Mar-a-Lago and DC. But there needs to be someone somewhere else, maybe.
Well, I think that's part of what Trump was suggesting, is that we move departments elsewhere, right? Maybe not the whole government, but shouldn't the Department of Agriculture be in Nebraska or Kansas, right? Or Illinois? So not Illinois. They're so corrupt.
Something's going into Arkansas. Something there was Alabama. It wasn't for the FBI headquarters going to Alabama or something.
Let California have the arts. They're artsy and fartsy out there. So they've got Hollywood and all that. So, remember our former guest on the show, Hester Peirce, SEC commissioner, is now leading up the crypto task force. And there's 15 members of the SEC crypto task force who are going to set the new course for the agency. Way to go, Hester. Talk
so
about
she is the new head of the SEC?
She is the commissioner. Yes.
Yeah. Dude. So she's the new Gary Gensler.
No. The acting chairman is what's his name? Mark Ayuda is the chairman. She
was the commissioner before, and she's still a commissioner. Basically, her role
is a commissioner, and she's head of the task force. So she's the chairperson for the crypto task force, which is a great fit. I mean, it's so cool and rewarding to see these people who have been staying the course all along and fighting through the nonsense and bureaucracy now have positions of leadership where they can actually make a real impact.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need these good minds on board to help creating the policies. If we're going to have regulations, which obviously crypto people are like, we don't want regulation, but we got to have some sort of framework so the big corporations and stuff can kind of assimilate into the whole thing, right? And so I'm big, and that was badco.in/627 when we last had Miss Hester Peirce on the show, which was pretty good. Next up,
Hey, Travis, just an aside, those shows become historical documents, right? All these old podcasts where we're talking to people, like, people are going to look back at this show and others and articles from the time just like we do now. Like we look back to 2017 and we're like, man, Bitcoin was, $1,500 when we started talking about it. Now we've hit 109,000. And if you go on YouTube or Rumble, you can find Bitcoin videos from Andreas Antonopoulos and others from 2010 and 11 talking about how this is the future of money. And it's mind blowing. Think, wow, you could have gotten in back then for, $1 and filled your bags. So just wanted to point that out. What do we got next?
I was filling my bags with gold and silver. And then what was so nice about that is that at one point, Bitcoin had taken off so much, and then gold and silver, my gold and silver bags was 1/2 the value of that I actually spent on it. So I was like, dude, if I had just taken 25% of my gold and silver bags and put it into Bitcoin when I was in it and thinking about it, I would not be on this show right now. I would be hiding from kidnappers.
Did you see this? There was an OnlyFans influencer. I don't know her name, but she was bragging online about how much Bitcoin she had, and there was three guys broke in her house.
Known as Amaranth. I'm looking at an article here. Was targeted by crypto thieves that broke into her Texas home. So. Yeah, if you got a lot of crypto, don't be bragging about how much crypto you got. I wish I had.
I guess
don't come kidnap me. I got shit.
Her boyfriend had a gun, and her husband or boyfriend, and shot one of them in the leg.
Wow, there you go. FAFO. What happens when that tends to happen? All right. Sounds like Joel's having some more bandwidth issues. Next up on the slate is things that have happened around Google. Apple and Meta are handing over millions of user data points to the U.S. government is something that we are finding out. Let me go ahead and share my screen here as well. Are you back, Mr. Joel Comm?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, Mountains of Dominican Republic, for chopping me out there just a little bit.
That happens.
Hey, as you're finding that there, we've got Tether is now promising an audit. Remember when we had Palo Arduino on the show, and they were saying that, well, they've done their own internal audits, but allegedly they couldn't find a third party that would take on the audit. That's what we were being told. And now they are saying with their new CFO that there will be a full audit. I don't know if that'll be a third party audit or not.
Yeah. So what do you make of this? Big tech companies are receiving more requests for data from the U.S. government. And then also Euro governments, they're also trying to get more information. So they're saying, hey, these requests may help in responding to emergencies, but are they really? Like why are they asking for all of this data, and why are these companies giving it to them?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, and I really hope that the new boss is not the same as the old boss. I think that would be really disappointing.
You know what I was thinking about just the other day? I was like, we're all, if you're in on Trump, you're all in on Trump. You're like, yeah, you're like Elon, you're in on Elon. But you know what it looks like's happening? If I'm looking at this sort of like kind of stepping away and just kind of having my own sort of nondescript sort of just looking at it and not getting too caught up in the comrade, yay, let's go, Team America, is looking at it like it looks like AI is being installed into all these organizations. And once AI is connected into all these organizations, that's really when you can get a panopticon and you can just watch everybody, and you kind of create that mark of the beast kind of scenario. So, I mean, like looking at this obviously I think Trump's doing a good job. I think Elon's heart's in the right place, but I don't know that for sure. Just, and it's like, it looks like AI is being installed in all these antiquated sort of platforms. And I don't know that that's good to unleash AI when you got, here's Elon who runs, X, and he runs SpaceX, and he runs Tesla, and he runs Grok, and he runs Starlink, right? And you start connecting all of these things.
I mean, it's pretty easy to look at that and go, could be kind of sketch. Did you watch the latest Elon on Rogan?
Oh, no, I haven't seen that, no.
So it's a good piece, but one of the things that's
is that just like this week?
Yeah, it was just a few days ago. One of the things that stood out and then he had Bill Murray on after him, which is
I did
really
see that.
fun.
Yeah.
That's really fun because it took him a long time to even get to talking about movies. They were just talking about all this other stuff that's interesting to both of them. And it was like just listening to dudes have a
Is that on
casual
the same
conversation.
show?
Yeah. No, not the same show.
Oh,
not
two
the same
different
movie.
episodes. Yeah. I was going to say,
Yeah.
how do you
So
bring in Bill Murray and Elon into one show?
No, one of the things that stood about Elon is Joe asked him, what are the odds that this whole AI thing goes bad, and we do end up killing ourselves over all of this. And Elon stopped. He takes a little bit of time to pause and think about it, and he said 20%. He said, I think our odds are good, but there's a 20% chance that this all goes really horrible, and the doomsday scenario happens, and we end up, making ourselves redundant.
That sounds like a friendly sort of 20. It's probably much higher than that. I mean, when you start talking to some of these AIs and you start noticing, like there was a post by Sam Altman yesterday where it talked about consciousness, and it just seems like it's becoming really self-aware. Like I don't think that we've hit general intelligence, artificial general intelligence. However, here's the thing. Google's been working on this stuff for a very long time. The United States government's been working on this AI for a very long time. They normally don't release technology as it's cutting edge. They normally sort of hold stuff back and then they release it. You know what I mean? And so Google, whenever ChatGPT came out and they launched, well, then Google's like, okay, let's release Bard. They've had Bard for like a decade or more, and they were utilizing it internally. And so, the U.S. government's been using some AI internally. Now, a lot of the agencies seem to have very antiquated sort of software, or at least that's what we're led to believe. Like it's like Windows 95 shit. I mean, they were saying even that a lot of the nuclear reactors were having like Windows 95 technology. Like, come on, what do you mean? This seems so dumb. So,
do you mean nuclear reactors?
I mean nuclear. Nuclear. I said that. I actually most of the time now I go nuclear. I say it to myself, but then whenever I'm with you, I make sure to not say it that way.
I appreciate that. Thanks for that.
So what do you think? Whenever you see Joe, like, you better watch out. I'm about to go nuclear.
I'm going to go nuclear on you. You think we're done with the meme coins? I mean, this has just been horrible. If you look at what's happened with Pump Fund, and the trading volume is way down now. Like it peaked out over $3 billion a week earlier this year, and now it's like, what is it, 0.3, down 63%. Because people are just
they're not self-policing it, dude. They're not. No. So here's the thing. It's like with these tools like Bubble Maps and Helio and some of these other tools, you can literally track these wallets and go, oh, look, they're consolidating. They're doing ban the bad actors. And then the fact is that there's not been any sort of, retribution or any consequences for any of these people stealing money out of crypto is caused this problem.
There was one earlier that Grim mentioned to me offline, said that Mario Nawfal had based on the meme, the "Why are you gay" meme, right? The Nigerian guy, and there it is, gay to sold. And look at that, it went zip, boom, and that's it. And this
thing took off huge.
It's the standard chart, though, right? This is the standard chart for the pump and dump, and it's
I think got up to what, $350 million? Is that what that got up to? 300 something million dollars.
Jeez, I'm not sure how high. Yeah,
no. That's 32. It's 20 got up to 28 million. Okay.
Yeah, but that's just horrible. And why would, unless you were an insider and you knew this thing was about to go and you were going to print, anybody who jumps in there to buy, you're going to get clobbered. This whole meme coin idea that, yes, there are going to be a few that community matters, and they're going to be very large communities, and they're going to be strong hands. But even you and I, I'm holding coins. We had Finky on the show, 6 months ago or so. And we said, hey, we're in, and we're going to be strong hands, and we're not going to sell. We're just not. Well, guess what? Other people come in and they do sell. and they ruin it. People, they're just in it for the quick hit. They're not in there because they believe in the thing that's actually happening. And it's really sad.
Well, speaking of meme coins that have community and have some positive at the end of the tunnel is our sponsors, Kiki, right? Kiki Cat it's moving in on 12 billion Giphies, which is huge in Asia, right? So basically what they did was they took the IP and they bought the IP. They spent 7 figures to buy the IP. And so I think that's really pretty fascinating. And it's a totally different approach. It's like one people go, oh, why are you gay? I'm making the gay token. You are gay. And so, yeah, Kiki, look at how cute this cat is. And they want to do all kinds of merch. They want to do a clothing line similar to Psycho Bunny and do some other stuff to it. And we know the team over there is very, very serious type of people. So this is a really great project. And yeah, very nice. What are your thoughts on it overall, Joel?
It's based on actual IP, right? When you do a "Why are you gay?" token, it's not based on anything other than, hey, remember this funny meme. There's no.
They don't own anything.
Yeah, they don't own anything. There's no utility. They don't actually. It's not. You don't get ownership of the meme. You don't get to play with the meme.
Yeah.
This, Kiki Cat.
Well, if you stack enough gay, you become gay.
How much gay is it required to flip the switch?
You need to have about 1 million gay tokens, and then you become gay.
And that's it. And then when you sell them, do you go back the other way?
Have you ever seen that one meme where you go, I will snap my fingers and you will forget that you were ever gay?
Oh, yes. And you're like, wait, I'm not gay.
Yeah.
See, it works.
Right. That's right. See, it works perfectly. Whatever you say, we know the truth.
Kiki Cat XYZ. We appreciate them sponsoring the show, and we have Kiki in our wallets, and wish them the very best. We got any more stories we want to cover?
It's holding strong. It's holding strong at 9 million market cap. So it's like not a dump, and that's what's good about those. So keep it going. Looking forward to seeing that thing rise as it builds. They're launching some really fun video games and all kinds of stuff here coming up.
Look forward to seeing it rise. That's what she said.
So
I think that we're going to see, here's my prediction, and I'm right. Volatility is going to continue to follow us through the crypto space. Crypto goes up, crypto goes down, but I do believe we are still in the bull market, and never has the wind been at our sails more than it is with, at least in the United States, with this administration. And so I'm pretty bullish myself, and I'm not selling.
Yeah. So there was one final article about the ATMs. So crypto ATMs are vanishing from the United States as Democrat Dick Durbin. What a name.
A dick.
Doesn't that just sound like a villain? I'm Dick Durbin. Or it sounds like a superhero. I'm Dick Durbin. Or like,
is he a bigger dick than Dick Blumenthal, though? Both of them are Democrat dicks.
Is he a bigger dick than Big Mike? Oh, so there's $66 million worth of fraud that's happened in ATM scams in 2000 or the first part of 2024. So that's pretty wild. A lot of scams, and most of these people are elderly people. So so Dick Durbin is saying, hey, we need to regulate ATMs. So ATMs might not be around. But here's the thing: you literally have a phone. You can be your own bank. You don't really need the ATM, but that's a good way to get money out. But what happens when when shit goes crazy, people like stealing ATM machines and stuff. It's always weird, like breaking them open. Like when we saw different riots and stuff happening, like ATMs don't last very long. So, isn't it weird? Isn't it weird just about ATMs is that ATMs is where your money access is, and you only have 4 digits in your PIN. What the hell is that?
This is
potential numbers, bro. Only.
That's crazy. Grim just posted this story for us. Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas allocates. I thought that was his name. Ricardo Salinas allocates 70% of his portfolio to Bitcoin. That is a bullish move right there. And remember,
it's either bullish, or it's also he's saying, this peso don't look so good right now.
Or foolish. Warren Buffett said,
foolish. Is that what he said?
Be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy.
Yeah.
And
You know, I heard a great quote the other day too. I love that quote you just said right there. But another one, I was chatting with somebody on a big Mario space, and he said, you know, this crypto time, it's going to go moon or dust. And I was like, whoa, moon or dust? That just seems like, I was like, that is such a good visual. I like, you will have moon or you will have dust. I'm like, man, most meme coins turn to dust. They turn your liquidity into shitidity.
well,
Boy,
we
Grim's
appreciate
over here
you
with all
all.
kinds of news over here. He's just
Okay,
dropping.
one more. Quit feeding us news, dude. White House announces its support for the CRA to rescind the so-called broker DeFi rule, an 11th hour attack on the crypto community by the Biden
Oh,
administration.
yeah, that was
Good.
that
I
thing
say
they did
we,
right at the last minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're turning back so many of these things. And here's the deal: you know, the Biden put a bunch of executive orders out there, but failed to get them passed as laws. And so it's so easy as the stroke of a pen for Trump to go, nope.
Yeah, but I tell you, this pen stroking it's anytime new person comes in, if they don't like what the other person did, they're just going to be stroking their pen.
But that's why you need Congress to codify and make a law, because it becomes a lot more difficult to turn back you can't, it's not a law, it's an executive order.
Yeah.
And so because Biden failed to get it passed by Congress, so that's why Trump's going to push so hard. And I think when he speaks to Congress at the State of the Union tonight, he's going to be clear this is what the American people want. And did you see the stinking Democrats? So the House passed, this will be my last rant, then we'll move on. The House passed the Defense of Women Act, which is basically to say that men, transgender women, cannot participate in women's sports. Makes perfect sense. Make a training league if you need to, but don't be putting biological males in women's sports.
Well, the NFL, it's the Transnational Football League.
Every Democrat senator is voting against it. They hate women. Can you imagine not?
Here's the thing, bro. I look at it like this. Objectively. I go, do you remember way back in the 1500s, Joel? Remember back in those days when Shakespearean, like, women couldn't be actors. It had to be dudes. And so they always had dudes dressing up as women to be in the actors. Now, I don't know when that ended, but doesn't it just seem sort of like anti-women? It just seems anti-women.
Sort of seem like that. The patriarchy.
The TNBA, the trans women basketball. With your host, Brittany Grimer.
That's a dude. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in, watching us live or the replay of the
it's
podcast.
The Trans Soccer League. We're going to kick your balls, but don't kick us in the balls because we're women.
I see a new video coming, courtesy of
God, that's funny, dude.
Yeah. All right, we're going to call it a wrap. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. Catch us here every Tuesday and Thursday live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will pick up with you guys where we left off next time. Until then, stay bad.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.